Hola, hola, buenas tardes a todos. Vamos a empezar en un minuto. We're gonna start in 1 minute here. We just want to get everybody in that wants to get in. We're gonna go ahead and allow them to enter the aula or the classroom. So we're gonna let them jump in here, waiting for them to jump in. Go ahead and comment estoy aquí. I'm here. If you are in the building with me, con permiso. We've got a We've got some interesting stuff that we're going to jump into today to make sure you are well equipped with some of the basic things that we need to know in Espanol. We're talking about two particular verbs that you need to make sure you understand and when to utilize them in Espanol. So make sure you've got your cuaderno, tu lápiz y tu pluma, or your notebook, your pen and your pencil, so that you are ready to rock and roll. We're jumping into that right now. Right. So let's see what we got here. See if I can pull up where we are. Right. There we are. There we go. All right. Damas y caballeros. Aquí tenemos. Try these two strategies, right? Prueba estas estrategias que tenemos aquí. So make sure you try these few strategies that we got going on here. All right, Felicia. Excelente. Muy buenas tardes. Buenas tardes a ti, señorita. TSG Uncut. Thank you for joining us here today. Let's go ahead and get this thing rolling, baby. I am ready to pop off with this. So we're going to bring it in live and direct for you a little bit bigger so that you can check out where we are as we always start off. Tenemos un calentamiento. We've got a little warm up here. If you are where I am on the East Coast, anywhere from, up top to around Georgia. We got a little chilly weather going on right here. So our calentamiento, our warm up here is llena los espacios vacíos o escribe la respuesta apropiada. So here we have fill in the blank spaces or write the appropriate answer. Número uno, yo soy blank. We want you to utilize the adjective or the nationality American slash US citizen. What was that word that we came up with last week? Número dos, Javier y Joaquín blank por teléfono. All right, we just need the answer here. And then we want the phrase the big houses. Y aquí tenemos los adjetivos y el sustantivo que necesitamos. So we've got the adjective and the noun that we need to make that phrase. All right, the big houses. Y número cuatro, ¿cómo se dice who in español? We want to be able to say that as well. Ha! I see you, TSG Cut. I appreciate you, Sean. Thank you for that answer there. All right, as we continue on and we have people jumping in here, I'm going to be flipping back and forth to see what we can come up. Hey, I understand you are a couple of hours behind me, or maybe an hour. I think you're Central Standard Time. So I know, and yeah, we know you're on that. We know you're in that. Vampire mode. So I know this is early for you, indeed. All right, hey, Bruce Rain, glad you could join us this afternoon, early afternoon, right? Trying to catch some people while they're eating salads and sandwiches or soup or whatever you do. Uh, yeah, hey, well, you got to come up off that sugar that you drinking at night, man. Them monster drinks and energy drinks, you got to lay off of them, man. That'll crash you so low. All right, so let's look at the answers here. The first one, yo soy blank. All right, TSG give us an answer, americano. Yes, technically that would be correct. Oh man, good job for you, Sean. We applaud you on that one. That's early. All right. So the first answer, Sean, we want to look for this one that I'm typing into the chat right there. Now we have estadounidense. This is diving in even more. All right. This is diving in even more. Yes, you can say Americano, but if we think about it, Americano can be somebody that's technically from North America or South America or Central America, those regions. And so technically we could be looking at that. And so we want to specify that we want to specify as to how we can make it known that you are from the United States. Yo soy estadounidense. I am an American citizen. All right. There you go. Well, hey, the spelling's not important. All right. It's how you say it when we think about it, because we're talking about a language, right? And so I'm not really interested in your spelling capabilities. I want to make sure that you can pronounce it. So hit me with a one if you can pronounce Estado Unidense. All right. That's the way we want to work on this. I'm not worried about whether you can spell it out. This is not that type of place, right? All right. Estado Unidense. All right, good stuff. All right, número dos. Javier y Joaquín blank por teléfono. If you remember from our previous classes, we know that hablar significa qué. ¿Qué significa hablar in inglés? Right? And of course, you take your context clues and use this. All right, no worries. Hey, you jumped in maybe a little bit later when we talked about this as the word of the day for last class is G. So don't worry about that, but you know it now, and knowing is half the battle. There we go. Mr. Steven X is in the building with the correct answer. Hablan. Excelente. Javier y Joaquín hablan por teléfono. Remember that all H's are silent in the Spanish language. We just pronounce the vowel that follows it. Número tres, the big houses. This is the one that I really want to make sure people understand. Okay, because we've got to remember our rule that we talked about in the last couple of classes, that people and things are more important than the words that describe them. Okay, so make sure you understand the order of operations here. All right, so make sure remember people and things are more important than the words, or I guess the words that describe them. And so more importantly, on top of that rule is that everything must agree in number and gender. So that means, Felicia, if I have a singular item or person, then that means that my adjective would be singular as well. But if I have a plural, there we go, Mr. Stephen X. Thank you for waking up and getting this game on for us, sir. You are on point right now. The big houses, las casas grandes. Remember, TSG Uncut, you've got to make everything look the same. All right. And I've got all the answers on the next slide here. I started throwing this in because I know people want to see these that might not be joining us for the live event here. The last and final one. ¿Cómo se dice who in español? ¿Cómo se dice who in español? Right? What is that word for who? And I gave you a phrase, who put the key in the door, right? You remember that phrase from last class, who put the key in the door? Bien, excelente, señor. Man, we are glad you are in the building today. Aquí tenemos todas las respuestas que necesitamos saber. Here are all the answers that we need to know, and you can see them highlighted in red, the red font here. Yo soy estadounidense. Javier y Joaquín hablan por teléfono. Las casas grandes. That's what I'm talking about right there, TSG. Good stuff. Las casas grandes. Remember, look at the underlined letters here. You and Felicia, make sure everything agrees across the board, right? And we also have to remember that when we have adjectives that end in E, you don't have to change it to O or A. It's a uniform, ambiguous, unisex. It goes with whatever your noun is, whether it's masculine, whether your noun is masculine or feminine. You just add an S to it to make it plural. All right, good stuff, senor. And of course, our word is quien. Now, quien should have another upside down question mark here when it's in the interrogative standpoint. Okay, so when you are asking a question, if you're texting something out, you want to see if you can hold that E down on your phone, your tablet, your keyboard, or whatever, and it will give you the accent with the slant to the right. Okay. But when you're in a statement, for example, I don't know who's at the door, right? Or who is at the door. We don't need the accent. That's something that's very, technical, not important here. All right, so la palabra vieja, the old word was, there you go, TSG, it was American, as in a U.S. citizen. en español estadounidense. La palabra de hoy, the word for the day. Make sure you jot this one down. We have to eat. Somebody might already know what this one is. This is a basic one. All right. We're getting ready to come up on a couple of days of some good eating. That's what I'm here for. So to eat in Espanol is. There we go. My man was got a little macchiato or whatever y'all be drinking that coffee and stuff. Got a little espresso or something. All right, there we go. Comer. Sí, comer. And so in our next class, we want to be able to get people utilizing verbs in the present tense, in el tiempo presente, while we use, hey, Excel Pro, glad you could join us today, sir, with the correct answer on the block here with that. Comer, we want to be able to get it in our next class. We're going to start utilizing it in the conjugated formats because you remember we talked about like ICE. That's our acronym that we use to create sentences, right? ICE, the I for identifying your subject. Who is the person doing the action, right? Ah, that's a good one. I like that one. I like that one, TSG. And you're using the present tense with that infinitive. Good stuff. Okay. And then, yeah, hey, there's some people popping off in here today. I like it though. This is what I like to see. And so we want to get you to the point where you can utilize ER verbs, just like we've been learning with AR verbs. But today, these two verbs that we're going to see today are not your normal flow. But right before we jump into that, make sure you know we've got this Black Friday sale going on right now where you can get the 8 strategies to become a better Spanish speaker in 30 days or less. You can check this off. It's over 80% off on Amazon only. All right. So make sure you jump into that link in the description below. All right. So, Sabias, I always want to give you something that did you know? Okay. Kind of like we talked with TSG a little earlier here. Did you know that word for American or US citizen? Right. Here's our Sabias. Did you know? You can also use soy, like soy sauce, right? Soy plus your name to express who you are. So you don't always have to say me llamo Omar, me llamo, Barack, me llamo Gary. You don't always have to use that. If you want some spice in your life, a little variety, because I like to, spice it up a little bit, you can simply say something like soy Omar. All right. So let's all try that right now. ¿Cómo te llamas? Right? O quién eres? If I hit you with either of those two questions, remember quién, who, right? ¿Quién eres? Who are you? ¿Quién eres? This would be how you respond to that question. All right. ¿Quién eres? Okay. And then also, even if somebody asks you, ¿Cómo te llamas? You can still respond with soy and then your name. So go ahead and type that into the chat. Hey, there we go. My man. You know what? I know what street you on. Okay. Good stuff. All right. Soy and then your name. Okay. Now, this is where we get into the meat and the potatoes of things. All right. So make sure you're with me. I want you locked in for the next few minutes here. El verbo ser. All right. El verbo ser, one of the most basic verbs that we need to know in Spanish, and it's probably the most popular and the most needed verb to know first. Okay. So there we go, Felicia. Gracias. All right. So nosotros usamos ser para decir to be in inglés. We use the verb ser to mean or to say to be in inglés. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Gracias, señor. All right. Tenemos que usar español en la clase de español, ¿verdad? Excelente. All right. So here are all the English conjugations. What we mean by conjugations, if you haven't joined us, if this is your first time joining us, conjugaciones or conjugations are the different versions of the basic form of a verb because we don't walk around and say I to be Omar, right? We say I am Omar. All right. So make sure you know your English first, right? And these are the ones that you already know. So we're going to go through these one by one. So I am, yo soy. We've already talked about that one, right? If I'm going to say you are, and I'm talking to somebody I know very well in a familiar format, tú eres, right? For example, por ejemplo, en la pregunta, ¿quién eres? Right? ¿Quién eres? Right? Who are you? Right? Hey, saludos, señor. Saludos, señor Julian. All right, y también he or she is or you formal are. There we go. TSG, you're like 3 out of 5 right there. 3 out of 5. But that's why we're going through this. All right. So él es mi hermano, right? So if I tell everybody in the chat right now, Bruce Wayne es mi hermano, you will know that that means that he is my brother, right? Ella es mi amiga, or Felicia es mi amiga. I would be saying she is my friend, right? Nosotros somos. That's the one we need right there, TSG. That's the one we need. Nosotros somos, not estamos, but somos. Nosotros somos estudiantes, right? Nosotros somos alumnos. We are students, right? So we're giving you the information. And then the last one, ellos or ellas son, they are, primos. Ellos, ellas son primos. They are cousins. All right. And then, yes, the last one. Ellas or ustedes son, right? Ustedes son atletas, atletas or something like that. Or ustedes son jugadores de fútbol americano, right? You all are, and then whatever you are, football players, whatever. All right, so now this is what you need. This is the money that you take to the bank right here with this acronym. All right, I want you to say it out loud. It's doctor. Okay, this acronym I want you to live by when it's time to understand when to use the verb ser. All right, use the verb ser to normally describe things that are slightly permanent. Okay, absolutely. That is correct. That is why we review. And so I want to give you this tool to put in your toolbox just in case you often find yourself like what we have, for example, in the comments right here, where we had like 3 of the forms of the verb ser, and we had 2 of the verb estar. This is going to help you determine when you use ser, all right, in all of its facets. Soy, eres, es, somos, son. I'm going to follow this guideline. Doctor, meaning date, the D in date, right? The O for occupation, the C for characteristics, the T for time, the second O is origin, and the last letter, the R, is relation or relationship. Doctor. That's what this acronym stands for. I need you to make sure you put that into your mental Rolodex or you put it down on paper or on a notepad. If you're on an iPad or whatever, put it in there so that you have this in your Google Doc. All right. So aquí tenemos el vocabulario de hoy. We've got today's vocab. All right. You got to know these words before we jump off into what we're doing today. And remember, these are the words that we're going to utilize to end our statements. And I put that E in the red because I want you to remember our acronym, right? We had an acronym, good idea. Take a screenshot, load it up somewhere else. Absolutely. So the E in our acronym, ICE, right? You remember identify, conjugate, end your sentence. And you've got to have some spice, some season, right? Nobody wants that bland chicken, okay? You want to have some seasoning to it, right? And this is how you're going to season up your sentences by ending them with these words that we're going to utilize today. So the first one, hoy, right? Hoy. Remember, H's are silent, right? Hoy, today. Okay. Lunes, right? Monday. Pero hoy is martes, but lunes. Just for today, we're going to utilize this day of the week. You can also check the video that we did on days of the week. It is in the playlist for beginning Spanish, so you can always check that out for all the days of the week. Y aquí tenemos médico o médica. Ah, most of us don't necessarily use médico or médica. A lot of us have learned that you can use doctor, right? And it's okay. You can definitely use doctor. But I'm in the business of making sure that you know Spanish at a grandiose center point of understanding that there are words that we utilize in Spanish that are strictly Spanish that we don't necessarily use. And if you want to think about this from a cognate standpoint, medico is very similar to the word that we know in English as medic, right? Now you think about a medic differently of what we would think in Espanol. Médico will be doctor, okay? Or médica. Remember, if you're joining me for the first time, that I put an ampersand or an at sign at the end of words because it can either be masculine or feminine. and that could be nouns or adjectives. Okay, so if we're talking about a guy, médico. If it's a lady, it would be médica. Okay, bonito, bonita. Okay, pretty. Okay? Bonito, bonita. Now, of course, you can be a pretty guy. You know, totally okay. But we like to use the word handsome, right, in English, right? So bonito, bonita. Okay, hermanos, hermanas. All right, hermanos, hermanas. If you've ever been in a chat with me, if I've ever caught you in a somebody's live and I'm in the comment section there, I might say buenas noches a todos or buenas noches hermanos. If I was in a chat with all ladies, it would be buenas noches hermanas, right? So hermanos could be brothers, okay? It can also be siblings. Okay, it can also be siblings where it's a mixed group of guys and girls. And of course, hermanas, all sisters. Y cumpleaños, right? Cumpleaños. I don't know if you know that word cumpleaños. Cumpleaños significa birthday. So if you've ever heard the song in a movie or you've heard or you've been somewhere where somebody was celebrating a birthday, there's two ways that people sing this. Cumpleaños feliz. Cumpleaños feliz. Or you might get the other way around. Feliz cumpleaños a ti. Feliz cumpleaños a ti. So you've got the two ways, but I want you to make sure you know that cumpleaños is birthday. So I need you to make sure you have these, 5 words down right here. Make sure you screenshot this like my man, Mr. Stephen X said there. All right. So also, we're going to jump off into how we can utilize this acronym doctor. We're going to give you some examples here. All right. Hey, if I had some drums or a little trompeta playing in the background, I give it to them, but not right now, right? So the D we said for doctor stood for day or date, right? El día o la fecha en español, day or date. These are also some supplementary vocab words that you can add to your list. I like to throw those in subconsciously so that you can utilize them. All right, so un ejemplo of using this in a sentence would be hoy, right? Vocab word. Hoy es. Es es la forma del verbo ser. Es is the form of the verb ser. Remember, we said that es is the word is in español, usando el verbo ser. Hoy es lunes. All right. So now you've got the two vocab words that I've already given you. You know that our verb es means is. Hoy es lunes. Hoy es martes. Anytime we're talking about the day of the week, tenemos que usar el verbo ser en la forma de es. We've got to use the verb ser in the form of es. Okay. Hoy es lunes. Today is Monday. Right. Today is Monday. All right. Y aquí tenemos la primera O. We've got the first O. Remember, we said it was occupation, oficio, job, okay, or occupation. Por ejemplo, yo soy médico, all right? If Felicia happened to be a doctor, she would say, yo soy médica, all right? And come on, that's not even a question right now. Yo soy médico or médica, all right? I am a doctor. All right, so I want to go back to our previous class, which was interrogativos, right? Where we were talking about interrogatives. Como, okay? Como. We said that it means how, right? In a lot of the scenarios that we work with. And it can also mean what, depending on the context of the question in español. Pero aquí tenemos la pregunta. Here we have the question, ¿Cómo es tu amiga? This is when I'm sitting in a group and some women might come over and they might be talking to a friend of mine, and I taught him this question, and he might say, "¿Cómo es tu amiga?" Right? This was one of the ones that we put into our community tab, where a lot of people chose this as asking, "How is your friend?" Technically, yes, but we're not talking about how is she like, from an emotional or a feeling standpoint. How is she feeling? We're talking about how is she like? Describe her. What is she like? ¿Cómo es tu amiga? All right. What's your friend like? That's what we want this question to drive home here. So, ¿cómo es tu amiga? Mira aquí tenemos dos amigas. We've got two friends here. And the person might respond to you and say, in the characteristics, the C for, C for characteristics in the acronym doctor, we're talking about características. Ella es bonita. Right, yeah. Ella es bonita. We've got our vocab word for today. We've got ella, because we talked about this before. Ella es bonita. All right. Remember, two L's make a Y sound. We talked about that in our first class. Ella es bonita. She is pretty, right? She is pretty. We're describing her, right? We're describing her. Penelope es bonita. Salma es bonita. Zoe, wait, yeah, es bonita, right? Mr. X, make it agree, right? Always remember to match number and gender. So ella es not bajo because you would be talking about a guy. Good example. Ella es, change that word for me. I'm gonna let you do that. There you go. Thank you. Way to pick up that lost that ball that was going out of bounds. We got the save by TSG. Appreciate you, sir. All right. So while we're talking about characteristics and we're getting into our word of the day, which was comer, right? Take a look. We're going to put it into action here. ¿Cómo son los tacos? All right. ¿Cómo son los tacos? Are we talking about the emotions of the tacos, the feelings of the tacos? ¿Cómo son los tacos? All right. We're talking about, look at the answer. I'm just going to let you figure this out on your own. Los tacos son deliciosos. Right? You've been picking up what I was putting down in a few slides before. So, ¿cómo son los tacos is not asking, how are the tacos today? Right? Oh, they're doing well. No, we don't care. Right? We don't care. Right? ¿Cómo son los tacos? So exactly, that's what we're looking for. We want to know, what are those tacos like? Describe them. What are tacos like? All right, TSG gave us an answer. Them tacos look good. All right. Them tacos are good. We're describing what tacos are. So here we have los tacos son deliciosos. Tacos are delicious. And I'm not going to put this out there because I know you already got this, but I'm about to blow your mind right here. It is Tuesday. Let that marinate. See if you pick up where I'm putting down over here on this right here. All right. So make sure you understand when you are talking about characteristics, por lo general. I don't even ask why we got a question mark and an exclamation point. Typo. Don't even look at it. But anyways, por lo general, in general. All right, in general. So I want characteristics in general of an item, not that particular moment in time. We're talking about in general. All right, there we go, Mr. You know what it is. Taco Tuesday. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I had to run out right after this right here. Okay, so we got the T for time right in doctor. The T for time. La hora. All right, la hora. That's time in Espanol, the hour, if you will. All right. Yes, sir, Antoine. What up, Antoine? Glad you could join us. You're just sitting over there in the cut, way to jump out there. Everybody know what it is. RIP to my man. Son las cinco. All right. Son las cinco. This is how we tell time in Spanish, and that'll probably be a class that we come up on a little later here, probably in the new year. But we want to get you the understanding how to tell time, and all we got to do is change your hour, right? So this will give us the equivalent all day. You know what it is. So son las cinco, son las cinco. It's 5 o'clock. That's how you would interpret it in English. It's 5 o'clock. Son las cinco. Okay. Son las siete. Son las ocho. Son las 10, son las 12. Whatever the time is, doesn't matter. That's how you're going to say it when we're talking about hours more than one. Let that marinate. Put that somewhere. Hours more than one. That means 2 through 12. We're going to use son las to talk about time. All right. Yeah, aquí tenemos O. For the second O, we said was origin, right? Origin, origen, right? Origin. Spelled a little differently in Espanol, by the way. All right. That second I would be an E. So, aquí tenemos un ejemplo. ¿De dónde eres? Right? We know that eres is the to form of the verb ser. Right? De donde eres. Right? Oh, and if we go back to the previous slide, let's look at that because I don't want that to get off track. So let me jump back to this one. Son las cinco. It's 5 o'clock, right? That's what we said. But son is the plural form of the verb said for they, right? We're technically saying there are 5 hours. There's 5 hours in the day right now. So don't get too drawn up about that. But we are going to get to that a little later. Make sure you are putting your questions into the Q&A boxes up at the top. I haven't used that. I'm not going to lie. I just thought it was cool and put it together. But if you do have a question, put it off in there and let me see if I can actually utilize that box. I haven't used it before, but we'll come to it. Okay, so we had origen de donde eres. Where are you from? Where are you from? Okay, de donde eres? Good question to know. All right, where are you from? In a familiar standpoint. Okay, in a familiar standpoint, de donde eres? This is somebody around the same age as you, somebody younger than you, a friend, a family member, a colleague, somebody that you talk to in a familiar standpoint. All right. And our last letter in the acronym for doctor is the R for relación or relation or relationship. Por ejemplo, nosotros somos hermanos, right? I'm giving you the vocab here. Nosotros somos hermanos. Somebody hit us in the chat with this translation, la traducción en inglés. Hit us with the translation there. Nosotros somos hermanos. What will we be saying right here? And take a look at the pictures, okay? If you're a movie buff, you might, or now, there we go, TSG. Appreciate you, sir. All right, that man is cracking lacking right now. I like it. So I'm dropping some bars on you right here. Appreciate you, Antoine, for that answer. To talk about who you are and from where, always use the verb said. Bars, okay? To talk about who you are and from where, always use the verb said. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have not shared this out to somebody that you know trying to learn Spanish, tell them to hit the button now because we're giving away free lessons right now. You can't get this everywhere, okay? We're giving away free live lessons, so share it with somebody you know. Man, we need to learn this before Martin Luther King weekend, before we go to Cartagena or, you go to Puerto Plata or Sosua or wherever you're going. Give them this free lesson, right? To talk about who you are. Soy Omar. And from where? Soy de Carolina del Norte, right? I'm from North Carolina. We're going to always use the verb said, okay? You need to get these lessons before Martin Luther King weekend or, even Super Bowl weekend. Don't act like I don't know. I know. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we came up with this fantastic fourth thing last week. We're jumping back into it. I want to make sure we drive this home. We're talking about the listening. To understand a language, you've got to know you're listening. You've got to be able to speak it. You've got to be able to read it and write it. We're focusing on the ones in the magenta color right there, the violet color arrows. The speaking, not yet. We're going to jump in that a little later where we start dropping the link and having people come on and do some practice here. We want to make this thing as interactive as possible, but we want to focus on these three facets right now before we jump into the fourth there. But I want you to make sure you are saying these things out loud and you're putting them to memory. Okay, so what's the reason? We need to make sure in the next upcoming activity, I want you to identify the letter from the acronym doctor in the chat. Type in the letter, okay, based on what you see as the example. If I read something that said, he is my brother, what letter would that come under? All right. There's a good answer, but there's a best answer. There's a great answer, there's a good answer, and there's a great answer. What is going to be the great answer to give us? All right. So, yes, that would be the correct one. Thank you, TSG. You are ready to rock and roll. Here we go. The first one, la primera. Mi mamá es atlética. Okay. Mi mamá es atlética. What letter? Anybody type that into the chat? Okay. Let me run it back. Okay. So, what we're saying here, for example, all right. For example, we've got the acronym, right? We know our letters: date, occupation, characteristics, time, origin, relationship, right? Those are what those stand for. Now, when I give you a statement like, he is my brother, okay, which letter would that fall under in our acronym doctor, right? And so in our previous answer from TSG, he gave us R for relationship. He is my brother. I'm telling you that we have a relationship. And I think TSG has the answer for us right here. Mi mamá es atlética. Yes, it would be C for característica or characteristic. My mom is athletic. I'm describing my mom. All right. Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, good deal. All right. Y aquí tenemos mi cumpleaños es el 25 de diciembre. 25 is a number. All right. And you can kind of put it together. 25. Mi cumpleaños es el 25 de diciembre. All right. Yes, that is correct, TSG. What kind of cough you got over there today, sir? Mi cumpleaños es el 25 de diciembre. Yes, day or date. Here, and that was specifically for date. All right, here we go. Check this one out. Ella es mi amiga. Ella es mi amiga. All right. Ella es mi amiga. All right. Appreciate you, boss. Ella es mi amiga. What letter would this come under right here? We're looking for answers after TSG. Okay, thank you, Mr. Stephen X. You are correct, senor. Ella es mi amiga. I'm telling you the relationship between her and myself. All right. Here we go. The next one. Romeo Santos es de Nueva York. Romeo Santos es de Nueva York. All right. You might have to spell this one out, or just give me a number if it's the first or the second. All right. If you get all right now, TSG, I thank you for that one. Can you give me a little bit more? Is it the first O or the second O? Because I want you to know alphabetically how we put that doctor together. One came before the other. So was it the first O or the second O? All right. You can say just one or two. Yes, origin. There we go. Appreciate it. The second O. Yes, that is correct. All right, here we go. Here's the next one. Soy inteligente. Soy inteligente. All right, ¿qué tenemos aquí? Soy inteligente. All right. What would this one fall under? Excelente, senor. Characteristic. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you know we also have a Black Friday sale going on right now for our weekly uploaded class. We're going to do 52 weeks of classes, one class per week for 52 weeks. So we're starting December 1st. It's going to carry us all the way to next December. This is also 50 to 60% off, depending on which version you choose. So you might want to check that out. It'll be in the description below as well. And the reason why we do this is because the stuff that we go through here is surface level. It's supplemental that we're doing on YouTube. We're going to get down into the trenches with what you need to learn with these weekly uploads. Make sure you check that out. That Black Friday sale is still going on for you. All right. Draw a line in your notes. All right. Draw a line in your notes. We've got el segundo verbo, estar. You know this verb. You've seen it before. Okay. But the thing is this. We talked about this. I mean, we might do a little something. We might do. That might be going into Christmas. I might do a giveaway. I like that. I like that answer. I like that question. Yes, that is definitely on the board. We will be giving away maybe a coupon or something. I don't know, a little gift coupon, gift certificate. We might jump into that. So, el verbo estar significa to be. It also means to be. Wait a minute, profe. Espérate, señor. Right? How on earth can two words mean the same exact thing? Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And you know what? We might say, hey man, if you can bring me 5 people, yours is on the house. Uh-oh, watch out now. We got a little giveaway right there. That's what I'm talking about. Help me help you. That's what I like. All right. So nosotros estamos usando el verbo estar. We are using the verb estar. Remember that it can also mean to be. And I'm going to show you how it can be utilized, okay? And we can use it for a lot of things, right? We can use it for a lot of things. But check this out. I know you saw this chart before, all right? The same chart. Wait a minute, profe. All of the meanings are the same exact. Well, it's the same verb. Is it to be or to be? Right? If you've ever seen that video that I've done on that, this is just pulling from that information. I'm just breaking it down in a live format for you. Okay, so I am. Yo estoy. Yo estoy bien. Yo estoy muy bien. Yo estoy mal. Yo estoy triste. Yo estoy nervioso. Yo estoy cansado. That's what we use yo estoy for. Okay, we're going to talk about why we use it for that. All right. Tú estás. ¿Cómo estás? Right? You know that question. Right? He or she is. Right? He or she is. Or you formal are. Él, ella está. Ah, we got the same answers right here. That's the same. Oh, okay. Good deal. Good deal. All right. So, él, ella está. He or she is. Usted está. You are in a formal standpoint. Okay. We are. Nosotros estamos. Or nosotras estamos if it's a group of women. Yes, estamos. And then they are or y'all are. Ellos, ellas están. All right. Or ustedes están. Y'all are or you all are. Okay. Screenshot that. Take a little picture right there, a little picture, just in case you took a screenshot of it. All right. Don't crop me out. All right. Aquí tenemos. Estar is used to describe things that are considered temporary. Okay. These are things that are used to describe temporary things. So remember, ser, el verbo ser, permanente. Okay. Permanent. Estar, temporary things. That's going to come into play a little later here. All right. So estar is commonly used with what? Preposiciones and adjectives. If you missed the most recent video that I dropped, we talked about prepositions, and you can see how we're utilizing everything. Everything is relative, right? It's all together. We're meshing these things together. That's why we call this the mesh method. I'm just going to basically bring things and put it together for you, right? And then the last one, a particular concept to describe an action that is happening right now at the moment. We also can use the verb ser. I am talking, right? Estoy hablando, right? I am teaching. Estoy enseñando, right? Those are things that are happening right now. And that's when we would have to include a form of the verb estar. All right. So aquí tenemos el acrónimo que necesitamos saber. Here is the acronym that we need to know for the verb estar. There are two acronyms, but right now this is the one that we need to know. P for position, L for location. The A is for action, C for condition, and the E for emotion. In the most previous video that I dropped from last week on Friday, we talked about location in depth. All right. So you want to make sure you check that out. I'll add a link for that in the description below as well. But you can always find that in the playlist for 30 for 30, which is basically 30 classes that you can literally line up and watch for 30 days in a row with one lesson. All right. They're not like consecutive. All right. So it doesn't kind of go like, oh, we're going from one to one. It's kind of like, I'm giving you a little this, a little that to put together. All right. So hopefully you've got your acronym written down for place. Okay. So we're going to jump in here, take a look at where this goes. Position, right? Location. That's going to go with that section right there. Condition is also going to go in that section. Emotion is also going to go in that section. And then action is going to be by itself down here at the bottom. Okay. Down here at the bottom. Make sure, ladies and gentlemen, you're getting a like on this here. We want to make sure if you're in the building learning with us, click that like button for us so we'll know what's popping off and I can bring you more information that kind of revolves around what we're talking about. So the P, position, right? We said that. Mi prima está sentada. I'm going to give you a picture here. See if you can figure that out. Mi prima está sentada. We're talking about the position of your cousin, right? And you can kind of look at that word sentada and kind of figure out what it might mean right here. Mi prima está sentada. ¿Qué es eso? ¿Qué es eso en inglés? Mi prima está sentado. What do you think? I'm giving you picture, sentence, correlation. Yes, right. And you're in the right neighborhood. Does it have to be word for word? No. I want you to get the idea. So if somebody says, "Oh, Sean, mi prima está sentada a la mesa allá." All right, she's seated at the table over there. Okay, my cousin is seated at the table over there. Excelente, señor. Aquí tenemos la L. All right, we said location, right? If you caught the last video, la pizza está encima de la mesa. Encima de, right? Alicia, I know you know that is. We talked about that one. Told me to Slow it down. All right. So la pizza está encima de la mesa. We're doing that action for a reason. La pizza está encima de la mesa. Somebody give me that one in inglés. ¿Qué tenemos aquí? La pizza está encima de la mesa. All right. ¿Qué tenemos? All right. The pizza's on top of the table. Thank you, sir. You are ready to rock. Yeah, there we go. Good stuff. All right. Check my guy out right here. The A for action. All right. The A for action. Yo estoy hablando. Yo estoy hablando. All right. Yo estoy hablando. This is the action. This is what's going on right now. All right. This is what's going on right now. Yes, here we go. I'm speaking or I'm talking. Either or. Excelente. Remember the verb hablar can mean speak or to talk. Okay. So whichever way you want to interpret it in your mind. I am speaking. Little bonus point right here before we dive in deeper, because this is something that we're going to do when we get into the weekly uploads. We're going to explain this a little bit more in depth. But ando, I'm going to give you this nugget right here, and you go ahead and jot this down in your notes. Anytime you see a word ending in ando in Espanol, it's ing. It's the suffix ing, the participle ing, not suffix, but it's the participle, the present tense participle. The ing is telling us that somebody's doing something like right now. So anytime we see a word with ando, there's another two that we also use, but ando is for our AR verbs, which is hablar, all right, ing. Put that to memory. Y aquí tenemos condition, right? Condition. We got a picture of a woman up here, but it says él. Don't match it, but kind of match it. Watch what we're doing here. Él está nervioso. Oh, I know we can do it right here. We can do a little action, little live action for an answer here. Él está nervioso. He is nervous. Pero aquí tenemos una foto de una mujer. We've got a picture of a woman. All right. So now, Mr. Steven, TSG, somebody give me the correct translation. He is nervous. Yes, él está nervioso. Pero estamos hablando de una chica. We're talking about a girl or a woman here. How would I say she is nervous in Espanol? All right, we're doing some application right now, live and direct. How would you do that? Él está nervioso. Close, Bruce. Close. That's very close. The word lie is the. I want you to think about that. Remember, there's another word. It kind of looks like L. There we go. Hey, yeah, we're getting there. Y'all at one house on the left. There we go. TSG is at the right door. Knocking on the right door. There we go, Bruce Rain. Way to pick it up. All right, so now we're back at this little bonus, right? We're talking about condition, right? Talking about condition. Uh-oh. ¿Qué tal están los tacos? ¿Qué tal están los tacos? All right. How are the tacos? How are the tacos? We're talking about temporary situations. So when we say temporary situation with the word tacos here, we're at Taco Tuesday. We are in the building, right? I'm sitting at the table and I ask you, or the waitress, the mesero or the mesera, they ask you, hey, señor, ¿qué tal están los tacos? Right? How are the tacos that are right there in front of you? You've taken 3 or 4 bites, okay? How are the tacos that are in front of you? Now, almost. We got to, the difference is, that's the difference between English and Spanish, Mr. Stephen X. So check it out. Look what I did and look at your answer. Look what's different, okay? And it's a slight difference, okay? And this is grammatically correct. Now, granted, when we're in las calles españolas, all right, when you're in the Spanish streets, you can get away with saying los tacos están deliciosos, all right? Because oftentimes, you know, like if you know where I'm from and you know people like me, we fall around, we come across people that oftentimes will drop S's off of words, right? Right? We know those people. So when you're out in these Spanish streets, it's the same way. They drop S's also off of words all the time, especially if you go to a couple of countries in El Caribe. I'm not going to name them. You know, they will remain nameless for right now, but they do drop S's. Okay. So it makes it oftentimes confusing for people. But I want you to remember the bar. All right. There's another bar that I gave out a couple of weeks ago. Always remember to match number and gender. What do we mean by number? We've got more than one taco right here. How do we know? It ends in S, right? Los tacos. That means los es tacos es delicioso also needs to have an S. Hey, shout out to you, Things and Dreams. Welcome, Senor Bienvenido. All right, los tacos están deliciosos. The tacos right here in front of me, the ones that I'm taking bites out of right now are delicious. Okay. Make sure you remember ahora mismo, right now. We use the verb estar to talk about food that we are eating right now. Okay. But if I'm describing it in a general standpoint, the fries are salty, right? Or French fries are salty. Let's not say the fries. French fries are salty, right? Popcorn is salty. That's just a general synopsis, right? Ice cream is cold. General synopsis, right? But if somebody asks me, hey, ¿qué tal está la sopa? Right? How is the soup that's in front of you? And I say, oh, la sopa está fría. I'm telling you about the soup that's in front of me right now. Okay. Not in general. Okay. Because we know in general, the majority of soups are hot or, well, hot, hopefully. Okay. So that would be something for an in general, from in general standpoint. But right now, ahora mismo, all right, right now, ahora mismo, we're talking about using el verbo estar. Ok, aquí tenemos un ejemplo. Emotion. Ellos están enojados. All right. Ellos están enojados. The sentence does not match this picture. We're doing some more application right here. We want you to bring it home with giving me what you see in the picture. Tell me exactly who is in the picture. She, right? So I want you to say, she is enojado, upset. All right. She is upset. In esta oración que tenemos aquí, in this sentence that we have here, they are upset, right? They are angry. But give me the answer for the young lady in la foto. How would you say she is upset based on what we have talked about today? How would we say she is upset? And the word is enojado. Remember, J's or H's. Enojado. Enoja. All right. Somebody give me the answer. I almost gave it away right there. All right. So she is upset. Somebody type that into the chat. Let us know what you got. Yes. Okay. Okay. I like it. Bruce, you gave me the plural form. It works. Yes. But think about what you did. You got she. Put an S on that word because it's got to match with your adjective, right? Enojadas. And then now that would say they are upset. Ellas están enojadas. But then we've got Mr. Stephen X. He gave us ella está enojado. Remember, always remember, Mr. Stephen X, always remember to match number and gender. We've got a female here. No podemos usar enojado. That's a guy, right? We've got to use enojada like we see here. Ella está enojada. Excelente. Yes, that would be a good translation as well. If we had multiple women here that we were talking about, oh, they're angry. They're upset. TSG, that might fall into play in your live stream. Oh, ellas están enojadas. I like to see you do that one. Pull that out. Yeah, use that in a live stream for me. All right, that'd be great. Let's start using, bring in some extra audiences here, some different audiences where you can start having those. The plan I want to see is everybody that I work with, we start having these bilingual audiences. Oh man, then we really doing something. Another bar. We got another bar right here. Hey, look, if you don't know about my rapping skills in Espanol, you're going to find out today. To talk about how we feel or where we are, always use the verb estar. Bars. To talk about how we feel, yo estoy bien. I know. Hey, it's a teacher rap. Man, chill out. All right. So to talk about how we feel, estoy bien, right? Estoy bien. Where we are, right? Estamos en casa, right? We're at home. Okay. Estamos en casa. Estoy en casa. I'm at home, right? You're giving us your location. Okay. We got to always use the verb estar. All right. So that's the bar. That's slightly different from the one that we had earlier. Let's keep it moving. All right. So we're doing another. ¿Cuál es la razón? What is the reason here? Okay. Remember, our acronym for STAR is place. Our acronym for SER is doctor. Okay. So make sure you know which one we're doing here. Identify the letter from the acronym placed in the following examples. All right. Here we go. Mi mamá está conversando con mi abuela. ¿Cuál es la letra? What's the letter? Mi mamá está conversando con mi abuela. All right. What's the letter that we need from place? You remember which one it is. Mi mamá está conversando con mi abuela. Okay. Mi mamá. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Excelente, señor. Action, right? That's what they're doing right now. My mom is, I bet you can kind of read this. Abuela, I'm going to give that one to you if you never heard it. If you never watched Coco, I'm highly upset, first and foremost. You need to watch Coco, okay? Because you would know who Abuela is, right? She's throwing the chancla, boom, hitting people in the head when the old boy didn't, we heard that music, no música, right? Abuela, mi mamá está conversando con mi abuela. My mom is talking with my grandmother. Excelente. Okay. Y aquí tenemos, ¿cómo estás hoy? Uh-oh, we got a vocab word, meshing. I know. Hey, oh, he meshing it. Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. We made it a verb too. ¿Cómo estás hoy? You already know cómo estás, but we added in our word from the vocab. All right. ¿Cómo estás hoy? The E for emotion. I like it, senor. All right. How are you? What do we say hoy was? Somebody type in the chat so that we can all know what hoy means. Remember, the H is silent. Hoy. ¿Qué significa hoy in inglés? All right. Hoy. ¿Qué significa hoy? How are you? Yes, there we go. There we go. All right, let's take another one. ¿Dónde está Fluffy? Look at somebody's Thanksgiving table out here. Y'all got Fluffy sitting on this mesa. Boy, who house is that? I'm getting up and leaving. I'm telling you I'm leaving right now. I ain't sitting down. I'm going to stay at the door and say, Los Vemos. All right, the L, yes, location, right? Location. ¿Dónde está Fluffy? Let's take it a step further here. Let's see if you can apply some stuff here. Who can tell us where Fluffy is in Espanol? Fluffy is on top of the table. Lord have mercy, Fluffy. Fluffy is on top of the table in Espanol. Check your notes right there. Go on back a little bit. See if somebody can do it. Encima de. Yeah, I know that's right, Bruce. Yeah. Oh, look at this, man. People bring this Spanish out. I like it though. El gato blank. Give me the location, right? Fluffy está. That's the first part, right? And ooh, little note right here, little nugget. I don't know if you ever seen this before. I don't know if anybody ever told you, but when you get a question like this, there we go, Mr. Stephen X. I appreciate you, sir. Now, check out the question. ¿Dónde está Fluffy? I'm about to bust your head open with this one right here. I took that from Drake. ¿Dónde está Fluffy? Where is Fluffy? Check out the order of your question. Where is Fluffy? To give a complete sentence, because that's what I focus on. That's my specialty. I want you speaking in complete sentences, okay? Where is Fluffy? Verb, subject, right? Verb, subject. Uh-oh, acronym time, right? Our first acronym that we ever talked about was ICE, right? Identify your subject, right? Second, conjugate your verb, and E, end your sentence. Mr. Stephen X gave us the answer. Fluffy está encima de la mesa. Start off my using ICE. If I follow the format and it never fails you, Fluffy, ICE, identify the subject. Fluffy is my subject. Fluffy, give me the conjugated form of the verb. Está, just flip it. All right. They give you verb subject in a question. You flip it to give a complete sentence. You go subject verb. Okay. Identify the subject, conjugate your verb. And then the letter E in ICE ends your sentence. Fluffy está encima de la mesa. Boom. That's all you have to do in Spanish. When they give you a question, just line it up. Listen for every time. A lot of times people want to listen when it comes to Spanish. You want to listen to every single word and try to interpret every single word that a person says in Spanish. And this being your maybe second language or maybe your third, depending on who you are, you to fully understand a language that's not your native, listen for key words. And then you want to get to a point where you can take that and get the general consensus of what the question was asking. Don't always try to go word for word because you're going to get lost in translation. That's what that phrase means. What you can do to avoid being lost in translation is get the overall concept and create what you think the question may have been. All right. Yeah, you got a 75-25% chance of getting it wrong. All right. you got a 75% chance of getting it right, 25 getting it wrong. But I guarantee you, if you can get like the majority of the question, for example, we got 3 words right here. All right. Yeah, that's exactly what you got to do until you build your vocab game up. And then you can start picking out more words, right? But we got 3 words in this question. Donde está Fluffy? If you get 2 out of 3, you got a 66% chance, right? Of 67% chance, we rounded up, 67% chance of getting this question right. Donde está Fluffy? Well, we went over donde with last week in our interrogatives, our question words class, right? So you would know that one. Fluffy might be the only one you don't know, but either way, you got 2 out of 3. All right, so that's how you do that. Let's check out the next one. Mi bocadillo de barbacoa está muy empapado. I know you like, what does that mean? All right, well, you just take a look at the picture, okay? Mi bocadillo, okay? De barbacoa, all right? There you go. I like it. There you go. Not quien está, but quien es, because we're asking for the relationship or we're asking for a description, all right? So, or characteristics, right? Who is Fluffy? So it'd be quien es, right? Quien es, all right? So mi bocadillo de barbacoa está muy empapado. What letter from place would be the choice from the acronym that we need here? Empapado, all right? Think about this. Look at this picture, right? Well, it could be empapado, could be what? It could be soggy is what I'm going for right here. Ain't enough barbecue sauce on this thing to be soggy, but you get my point. Okay. So now think about they said mi bocadillo de barbacoa está muy empapado. My barbecue sandwich is very soggy, right? And Mr. C gave us the letter here C for condition. Yes, I got a soggy barbecue sandwich. Gotta go back. Okay. Y'all wrapped it up. I know that won't freshly made. Okay, that bun can be soggy. Anyway, here we go. Estoy perdido. Estoy perdido. Ayúdame, por favor. Estoy perdido. Ayúdame, por favor. This is a good one to use. I'm telling you, can't go wrong. Just roll up on anybody in these Spanish streets and say, "Estoy perdido, señor. Estoy perdido, señorita. Ayúdame, por favor." Ayúdame, depending on how you do. Yes. Give me a little bit more. It could be condition. What else could it be, though? Think about it. I got a map. Estoy perdido. Ayúdame, por favor. What's another answer, an alternative that you could use for that? In place. Position, yes. Not emotion. Not emotion. It could be position. There's another one. What else could be used? Because position, remember we took the example, TSG? We had mi prima está sentada. She was seated, right? Yes, Mr. Stephen X, we need the L for location, right? I'm lost. I don't know where I am. I'm somewhere, a location, right? So, you interpret the way you are. That's not the point. The point is I want you understanding that you have to use the verb estar, estoy, right? Is a yo form, la forma de yo, all right? We almost at the end. Ahora es tu turno, all right? So we are at the end, Bruce Rain. I'm glad you're here. Go ahead and tap out if you need to. But the action or the practice that I want you to do on your own today, before we leave out of here, escribe dos frases, all right? Escribe dos frases. Escribe dos frases. Write 2 phrases. Una con el verbo ser, one with the verb ser, all right? A form of the verb ser. Do not use the word ser. I want you to use soy, eres, es, somos, or son. Use one of those in your sentence. And then the other sentence or the other phrase, con una forma del verbo estar. All right. I want you to use another one with the verb estar. All right. Una forma del verbo estar. All right. So I want you to give your answer. Put your answer in the chat right here, or you can even add it on to the comment section. It might take you a little time. Nobody's expecting you to get the answer right now, but your homework, your individual practice is for you to go ahead and create 2 sentences on your own. And let's do that. Put it in the comments. Don't put it in the chat box. Put it in the comments section so that we know that you picked up what I was putting down. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't want to have you here for a long time. We were just here for a good time. Soy Profe Don Omar. I appreciate all of you. Make sure you join me the next class. I think we're gonna do it this week. All right. I don't know when. It won't be on Thanksgiving Day. We might come back tomorrow. Okay. I got a little something that I want to put on you right here. So estoy practicando español, right? That's what we're doing right now. I'm practicing Spanish, but we're glad you're here. I thank you for joining me. We're tapping out right now. Make sure you try these 2 strategies on your own and check out the next video. If you're watching this on the replay, it'll be something that goes along with what we're talking about here. Nos vemos.